Hello and welcome. Tonight, we journey to medieval West Africa, to the heart of an empire whose wealth, power, and learning were legendary. An empire built not on conquest, but on the profound understanding and control of two precious resources, gold and salt. Chapter 1. The Lion King and the Birth of an Empire. Our story begins not in the hallowed halls of power, but with the humble and challenging birth of a boy named Sundiata Keita, the Lion King, the architect of this magnificent realm. According to the epic oral tradition, lovingly preserved and passed down through countless generations by the revered griots, the West African storytellers and historians, Sundiata's early life was marked by hardship, a crucible that would forge his extraordinary destiny. He was born with a physical disability, unable to walk for many years, a source of deep shame and mockery in a society that valued physical prowess. This initial struggle, however, became the very ground from which his greatness would sprout. He was not born to immediate power or privilege, he earned it through an unwavering spirit of resilience, a quiet strength that simmered beneath the surface of his trials. Imagine the dusty paths of the Mandinka villages, the rhythmic sounds of daily life, and the young Sundiata, often sidelined, observing the world with a keen, introspective eye. His mother, Sogolon, a woman of powerful spirit, endured much alongside her son, always believing in his inherent potential. The legends speak of the day, when he was finally able to stand, supported by a magnificent iron rod, pulling a baobab tree from the earth with his bare hands, a symbolic act foreshadowing his immense strength and his ability to uproot and reshape the world around him. This moment marked a turning point, not just for him, but for the destiny of an entire people. As a young man, Sundiata's path was still fraught with peril. The Mandinka lands were then under the oppressive heel of a tyrannical sorcerer king, Sumanguru Kanti of the Sasso Empire, a figure whose cruelty and mystical powers cast a long, dark shadow over the land. Sundiata, having endured exile and learned the arts of war and diplomacy in neighboring kingdoms, would return to his homeland, not for revenge, but for liberation. He united the disparate Mandinka clans, weaving together a tapestry of alliances and shared purpose. In the pivotal year of 1235, at the legendary Battle of Karina, Sundiata, leading his unified forces, decisively defeated Sumanguru. This was more than a military victory, it was a spiritual triumph, breaking the hold of tyranny and ushering in a new era. With the defeat of Sumanguru, Sundiata did not merely conquer, he created. He established the Mali Empire, laying foundations that would stand for centuries. His genius was not just in warfare, but in governance. He convened the Kurukan Fuga, a great assembly of clan leaders, a living constitution that outlined the rights and responsibilities of citizens, established social order, and even enshrined early principles of human rights and environmental protection. This system of governance, a remarkable blend of traditional African wisdom and nascent Islamic principles, provided the profound stability and cohesion necessary for Mali to grow, flourish, and become a beacon of order in West Africa. This was a king who understood that true power resided not just in the sword, but in the harmony of his people and the justice of his laws. Mali's strength came not only from its military might or its sophisticated political structure, but profoundly, from its mastery of commerce. Sundiata, with a far-sighted vision, understood that control of the trans-Saharan trade routes was the absolute key to unimaginable wealth and influence. To the south, deep within the lush forests and savannas, lay the fabled gold fields of Wangara, where gold was so plentiful it was said to be dug from the ground like carrots, an almost mythical abundance waiting to be discovered. To the north, deep within the stark, majestic silence of the Sahara, were the immense salt mines of Tagaza, where intrepid workers carved colossal blocks of salt from the earth's crust, a commodity as vital as gold itself. Mali positioned itself as the essential middleman, the crucial nexus of this ancient and vital trade. Gold flowed north from the Wangara fields, transported by porters and donkeys through the challenging landscapes, eventually reaching the bustling markets of Mali. In return, the empire received the equally precious salt, along with fine textiles, horses, copper, and other goods from North Africa and beyond. Salt was so exquisitely valuable in this tropical climate that it was often traded ounce for ounce with gold, a testament to its critical importance in preserving food, providing essential minerals, and even serving as a form of currency. Imagine the scene: caravans of camels, stretching across the desert horizon, laden with the treasures of the earth, connecting distant worlds in a silent, powerful exchange. The Malian economy was highly sophisticated, far beyond simple bartering. Its currency was not a single coin, but a nuanced system that included gold dust, carefully weighed and measured, the shimmering gold of the Mandinka. Alongside this were cowrie shells, imported from distant shores, acting as smaller denominations, and crucially, bars of salt, each with a specific, recognized value. This intricate economic web, established and nurtured by Sundiata, transformed Mali into an economic powerhouse, laying the groundwork for a golden age that would soon illuminate the world. Let these images of quiet strength, strategic vision, and the slow, steady accumulation of prosperity gently guide your thoughts. Chapter 2. The Golden Pilgrimage of Mansa Musa. As Sundiata laid the robust foundations, the empire he built continued to thrive, evolving through successive reigns, each contributing to its growing stature. But it was during the reign of Mansa Musa, who ascended to the throne in 1312 and ruled until 1337, that the Mali Empire reached its undisputed pinnacle of power, wealth, and global recognition. His name itself, Mansa Musa, which translates to King Moses, resonates with a sense of destiny and leadership. He was not just a monarch of immense material wealth, but a deeply devout Muslim, and it was this profound faith that led him to undertake one of the most remarkable journeys in human history, the Hajj, or pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca, one of the 5 pillars of Islam. This was no quiet, solitary journey undertaken by a pious individual. This was a grand, meticulously orchestrated statement to the world, a breathtaking display of Mali's wealth, influence, and the devout faith of its ruler. Imagine the sheer scale of the undertaking: years of preparation, accumulating resources, organizing logistics for thousands of people and animals. The very act of preparing for this journey underscored the empire's organizational prowess and its limitless resources. His caravan, as chronicled by awestruck contemporary historians and travelers from across the known world, was a spectacle of unimaginable splendor and power, a moving city stretching across the vast desert. Picture it now, a procession of tens of thousands of people, perhaps as many as 60,000, a veritable army of courtiers, soldiers, servants, scholars, and heralds, all dressed in the finest silks, their movements creating a shimmering mirage in the desert heat. Leading them were 500 slaves, each carrying a staff of pure gold, their silent steps echoing the immense value they bore. Most strikingly, 80 camels, magnificent beasts of burden, each laden with hundreds of pounds of shimmering gold dust, some accounts say up to 300 pounds per camel, accompanied the king. This was not just a religious pilgrimage, it was a grand diplomatic mission, a strategic announcement of Mali's existence and prosperity to a world largely unaware of its true magnitude. As the majestic caravan wound its way across the Sahara, through the ancient trading city of Walata and on to the bustling markets of Tuat, news of its approach preceded it like a ripple across a quiet pond. When Mansa Musa's entourage finally arrived in Cairo, the vibrant heart of the Mamluk Sultanate, the effect was nothing short of captivating. The city, accustomed to grand displays, was utterly enthralled. Mansa Musa spent lavishly, his generosity flowing like the Niger River. He gave gold to the poor, showering the city's officials and scholars with opulent gifts, transforming the very streets with his munificence. His generosity was so profound, so unparalleled, that he single-handedly devalued the price of gold in Egypt for a staggering decade. The sheer influx of Malian gold into the Egyptian economy caused an economic ripple effect that demonstrated, unequivocally, the immense wealth emanating from West Africa. The global perception of Africa, particularly among the Arab world and, through them, Europe, was changed forever. Maps would soon appear with Mansa Musa and his golden empire prominently displayed. Mansa Musa's journey was meticulously documented, not only by those he encountered but by the chroniclers who traveled with him. He met with rulers and scholars, engaging in profound discussions, exchanging knowledge, and forging invaluable diplomatic ties. His time in Mecca was a spiritual zenith, fulfilling his religious obligation with deep reverence. But his return journey was equally transformative for Mali. He came back not just with spiritual fulfillment, but with a retinue of brilliant Arab scholars, architects, and artists, most notably the Andalusian architect Abu Ishaq al-Sahili, whose creative vision would soon reshape the skylines of Mali's great cities. Mansa Musa was more than a wealthy king, he was a visionary. He understood that true power lay in more than just military might or material wealth. It lay, fundamentally, in culture, in knowledge, and in faith. He invested his immense fortune not merely in personal luxury, but in the enduring infrastructure of learning and piety. Under his patronage, new mosques, libraries, and universities began to rise, turning Mali into an intellectual powerhouse. He envisioned an empire where the spiritual and the secular intertwined, where the wisdom of Islam could be cultivated alongside traditional African knowledge, creating a society that was both prosperous and profoundly enlightened. Let the image of his gilded procession, stretching across the desert, slowly fade into the quiet contemplation of his enduring legacy. Chapter 3. The light of Timbuktu. Under the visionary patronage of Mansa Musa and his enlightened successors, the great cities of the Mali Empire, such as Gao and Jen, flourished as vital centers of trade and culture. Yet, it was Timbuktu, nestled at a crucial bend of the Niger River and at the very edge of the vast, mystical Sahara Desert, that blossomed most spectacularly, evolving from a humble, seasonal Tuareg camp into a bustling metropolis and, indeed, a global epicenter of Islamic scholarship and intellectual pursuit. Imagine a city born from the convergence of trade routes and waterways, a place where the desert met the river, creating a unique crucible of knowledge and commerce. Timbuktu's strategic location was its destiny. The Niger River provided a lifeline, allowing goods and people to traverse the lush savannas and forests to the south, while the endless desert to the north served as the highway for trans-Saharan caravans, bringing salt, textiles, and precious manuscripts from North Africa and the Middle East. It was here, at this vital crossroads, that ideas, goods, and people converged, creating a vibrant tapestry of cultures and knowledge. At the very heart of Timbuktu's intellectual life lay its Grand Sankore University, alongside dozens of other esteemed madrasas, or schools, such as the Jingareber and Sidi Yahya mosques, each fostering an environment of intense learning. Picture these institutions, courtyards filled with the murmur of students reciting verses, scholars meticulously copying texts, and animated debates echoing through ancient mud brick walls. Scholars, students, and thinkers from across Africa and the Middle East traveled great distances, enduring arduous journeys, to study here, drawn by the city's reputation for profound learning. The libraries of Timbuktu were truly vast, holding hundreds of thousands of meticulously copied manuscripts. Some estimates suggest up to 700,000, far exceeding the collections of any European university at the time. These were not merely religious texts, though the Quran and Hadith formed the bedrock of their studies. They were comprehensive works spanning astronomy, mathematics, medicine, law, fiqh, history, geography, rhetoric, logic, and even poetry. Imagine the quiet reverence in these libraries, where knowledge was painstakingly preserved and expanded upon. The scholarship was so advanced that astronomers could accurately predict celestial events, charting the movements of stars and planets with impressive precision. Physicians were renowned for their advanced understanding of anatomy, herbal medicine, and surgical techniques, their knowledge often surpassing their European contemporaries. This was a city where intellectual curiosity was not just encouraged, but celebrated as a path to spiritual and societal enlightenment. Daily life in Timbuktu was a rich, vibrant tapestry of cultures, sounds, and scents. The city was a melting pot, home to a diverse array of merchants, academics, artisans, and travelers. The streets buzzed with the polyglot murmur of languages. Arabic, Songhai, Tamashek, Mandinka, and various dialects from across West Africa, each adding to the city's unique cultural mosaic. In the bustling markets, goods from distant lands exchanged hands, shimmering gold dust from the south, colossal blocks of salt from the north, intricately woven textiles, aromatic spices, cola nuts, and, crucially, thousands of hand-copied books. The people of Timbuktu built their homes and their magnificent mosques from mud brick, or adobe, a sustainable and environmentally conscious material perfectly suited to the desert climate. This architectural style, known as Sudano-Sahelian, created stunning architectural wonders that were both functional and aesthetically beautiful, their distinctive conical spires and buttresses reaching towards the vast, open sky. The Great Mosque of Jingareber, designed by the returning architect Abu Ishaq al-Sahili, stands as a testament to this unique blend of artistic vision and local materials. The cool interiors of these buildings provided a serene refuge from the desert heat, allowing for quiet contemplation and study. Timbuktu, during what Europe often called its Dark Ages, shone as a brilliant beacon of civilization. It was a testament to the profound fact that during a period when much of Europe was fragmented and struggling, Africa was home to a vibrant, sophisticated, and intellectually rich civilization that actively contributed to the global reservoir of knowledge and culture. Let the imagined whispers of ancient scholars and the quiet rustle of parchment fill your mind, as you consider the enduring light of Timbuktu. Chapter 4. The twilight of a golden age. The golden age of Mali, for all its splendor and enduring legacy, was, like all earthly empires, a fleeting one. Following the death of the illustrious Mansa Musa in 1337, the empire began a long, slow, and almost imperceptible decline. The very vastness of the empire, which had once been its profound strength, stretching across an immense portion of West Africa, gradually became its greatest vulnerability. Controlling such a sprawling territory, with its diverse peoples and distant provinces, required exceptional leadership, constant vigilance, and an unceasing flow of resources. A series of weak and often short-reigned rulers succeeded Mansa Musa, each struggling to maintain the delicate balance of power and control over the vast territories. The strategic genius and diplomatic prowess of Sundiata, combined with the visionary leadership and unifying religious devotion of Mansa Musa, proved difficult to replicate. The immense wealth that had once flowed so freely began to be diluted by mismanagement and internal strife. Internal power struggles, often manifesting as disputes over succession and civil wars among rival factions within the royal court and provincial governors, increasingly sapped the empire's strength and diverted precious resources. Loyalty, once fiercely given to the central authority, began to fray at the edges, as distant provinces sensed the weakening grip of the capital. These conflicts fragmented the empire from within, making it vulnerable to external pressures. At the same time, the powerful Songhai people, who had for centuries been a vassal state of Mali, situated strategically along the Niger River with their capital at Gao, began to stir. They observed the internal turmoil within Mali and recognized an opportunity to assert their own independence and expand their influence. Under ambitious and dynamic leaders like Sunni Ali, who ruled from 1464 to 1492, and later Askia the Great, who reigned from 1493 to 1528, the Songhai would eventually eclipse Mali, systematically seizing control of key trade cities like Timbuktu and Jen. The shift of power was gradual but inexorable, much like the slow, steady erosion of a riverbank. Several factors contributed to this twilight. The trans-Saharan trade routes, while still active, began to shift. New sources of gold were discovered elsewhere, diminishing the exclusive economic dominance that Mali had once enjoyed. Furthermore, the advent of European maritime exploration along the West African coast by the Portuguese offered new trade opportunities, bypassing the traditional desert routes and gradually siphoning off some of the lucrative coastal trade that fed into the Saharan network. This did not immediately cripple Mali, but it represented a significant, long-term challenge to its economic model. By the 17th century, the once mighty Mali Empire had fractured irrevocably into smaller, independent kingdoms and chiefdoms. The grand unified state, which had stretched from the Atlantic coast to the heart of the Sahara, became a collection of regional powers, each vying for local supremacy. The echoes of its former glory remained, but the central authority was gone. Yet, despite its eventual decline, Mali's legacy is profound, powerful, and enduring. The Empire of Mali stands as a magnificent testament to the sophistication, wealth, and intellectual vibrancy of pre-colonial Africa. It was a civilization built not on brute conquest alone, but on strategic trade, profound knowledge, and deep faith. Its golden age continues to inspire and to challenge conventional narratives, reminding us that brilliance and complexity flourished far beyond the limited scope of Eurocentric historical accounts. Its influence on West African culture, on its legal systems, on its oral traditions, preserved by the griots, and on its architectural styles is still deeply felt today, a silent, powerful echo of a time when this corner of the world was home to one of history's most extraordinary and enlightened civilizations. Let the image of this fading light remind us of the impermanence of empires, yet the permanence of their spirit. Chapter 5. Echoes in the Sands, the enduring legacy. As the desert winds sweep across the ancient lands of West Africa, carrying grains of sand from one dune to another, they also carry the subtle, enduring echoes of the Mali Empire. Though its political structure eventually dissolved, and its golden age receded into the annals of history, the spirit and influence of Mali did not vanish. Rather, they permeated the very fabric of West African societies, leaving an indelible mark that continues to shape culture, identity, and tradition to this day. Let us trace these enduring echoes, appreciating how a civilization built on gold, salt, and knowledge, continues to resonate in the quiet corners of the modern world. Consider first the architectural legacy. The distinctive Sudano-Sahelian style, so beautifully exemplified in Timbuktu and Djenné, with its towering mud brick mosques and multi-story houses, remains a living tradition. Imagine the Great Mosque of Djenné, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, still standing majestically after centuries, its organic form seeming to rise directly from the earth itself. Its annual replastering, a community-wide effort, is a testament not just to its physical preservation, but to the continued cultural connection people feel to these ancient structures. The quiet strength and environmental wisdom inherent in building with local materials, creating cool, serene spaces in a hot climate, continue to inspire sustainable architecture. These buildings are not mere relics, they are living testaments to an aesthetic and engineering prowess that blossomed in the heart of Africa. Then there is the profound and utterly unique tradition of the griots. More than mere storytellers, griots are the living libraries, the genealogists, the historians, and the musicians of West Africa. They preserve the intricate oral histories, including the epic of Sundiata Keita, ensuring that the wisdom, triumphs, and struggles of ancestors are never forgotten. In their melodic recitations, accompanied by the kora or ngoni, the past becomes present, alive and vibrant. This tradition, central to Malian culture, has survived colonial incursions, political upheavals, and the passage of time. It is a powerful reminder that history is not always written in books, sometimes, it is sung, spoken, and deeply felt in the human heart, passed from generation to generation in a soothing, rhythmic cadence. They ensure that the quiet courage of Sundiata and the golden generosity of Mansa Musa still whisper in the wind. The rich tradition of Islamic scholarship that flourished in Timbuktu also left an enduring imprint. While the grand universities may no longer operate on the scale of their golden age, the reverence for learning, for the written word, and for intellectual discourse continues in many local communities. Small madrasas and private scholars still meticulously study ancient manuscripts, some carefully hidden and preserved in family libraries for centuries, safeguarding the intellectual heritage against the tides of time. The emphasis on logical reasoning, legal interpretation, fiqh, and the study of the sciences embedded within Islamic tradition, cultivated by Mali's scholars, continues to inform religious and social life across the Sahel. It reminds us that knowledge, once sown, continues to yield fruit in unexpected ways, a quiet light that refuses to be extinguished. The political structures and systems of governance initiated by Sundiata, particularly the principles enshrined in the Kurukan Fuga, continue to influence local governance. While no longer an empire, many communities retained forms of consultative councils, emphasizing consensus, dialogue, and respect for traditional laws, echoes of the Bara. This indigenous wisdom, a blend of democratic ideals and hereditary leadership, showcased a sophisticated approach to societal harmony that predated many similar systems in other parts of the world. It's a testament to the quiet power of adaptable governance. Even the economic innovations of Mali, its sophisticated currency system, its mastery of trade networks, and its understanding of commodity value, gold and salt, left a lasting mark. The spirit of entrepreneurship, of connecting distant markets, and of understanding the value of essential goods, remained embedded in the regional psyche. Markets still hum with activity, continuing ancient traditions of exchange, adapting to new currencies and technologies, yet retaining an underlying rhythm that would be familiar to a Malian merchant of the 13th century. Globally, the existence and accomplishments of the Mali Empire profoundly challenge Eurocentric historical narratives. For too long, the history of Africa was misrepresented or simply ignored, often depicted as a continent without its own grand civilizations, complex political systems, or intellectual traditions prior to European contact. Mali stands as a powerful, irrefutable counter-narrative, demonstrating unequivocally that Africa was home to sophisticated, wealthy, and intellectually vibrant empires that contributed significantly to the global tapestry of human history. Remembering Mali is not just about appreciating a bygone era, it is about rectifying historical imbalances and expanding our understanding of humanity's shared past. It invites us to consider the quiet brilliance that often went unnoticed by those focused on other parts of the world. Today, the legacy of Mali continues to inspire. It provides a source of immense pride and identity for the peoples of West Africa, connecting them to a glorious past. It encourages scholars to delve deeper into Africa's rich archives, both oral and written, unearthing more stories, more knowledge, and more wisdom. It reminds us all that true power can reside in peace, in commerce, in wisdom, and in the quiet, steady pursuit of knowledge. Let the final image be one of peace and contemplation. Picture the Niger River flowing gently, as it has for millennia, reflecting the starlit sky. Imagine the soft glow of moonlight on the ancient mud brick walls of Timbuktu, where the echoes of scholars and merchants still linger. Feel the quiet power of a history that reminds us of the ingenuity, the resilience, and the profound wisdom of humanity, irrespective of time or place. The Mali Empire, a golden thread in the vast tapestry of history, continues to whisper its secrets across the sands, inviting us to listen, to learn, and to remember its enduring light. Thank you for joining this journey into the heart of ancient Mali. May your dreams be as rich and profound as the history we have explored tonight.